Wow, wow, wow. That is a statement. There are 5 minutes left in the game, by the way. I just left because I kind of feel sorry for Fiji by now. England were 66-8 up with 5 minutes to go. What a performance, guys. What a performance. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, to the channel, for everyone who subscribed. If you love rugby and you want to hear me talk about rugby and you want to just join a community of people who love rugby, who respect the sport and who have, as I said, gentleman conversations about our common passion, then subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you, type in your thoughts in the comments. Full-time score, well, that will have to wait for 5 minutes because it probably can get worse. It was 66-8 when I clicked off. England scored about 10 tries. Fiji only one on the board for now. Look, well done, England. Sadly, I do feel sorry for Fiji. I think that they did have it quite tough this nation's championship, right? They are not playing at home. At the same time, they can't really play at home, and none of their players really play at home, except for a few minority, right, that play actually for the Fijian Drua Super Rugby team. But let's remember that Fiji is a small, poor island in the Pacific. It is not yet ready to host regular games in the Nations Championship. I don't believe there is a current stadium big enough to host games. They don't have it easy, but they did play Wales in Wales. They've played England now in England, so they're playing their home games basically in the home of their opponent. So that's tough to really fathom. I was thinking to myself, they're playing the wrong sport. Now, why did I think that? Because they're playing sevens rugby. They're playing a brand of rugby that that you can't really play. What the Barbarians do, for example, didn't work against the Boks recently. You can't really play like that unless your opponent is completely off guard or not ready. They tried against Wales. There was some good moments, but overall they lost the game. They couldn't keep it up. They tried to offload against England. They tried to play this kind of Fijian style of rugby all game, but they couldn't pull it off. It just wasn't working. England, I suppose, learned from what happened in Fiji's game against Wales, made sure they could stop them from doing all those offloads and playing that exciting brand of rugby. England, well, they needed this badly. They needed this badly after the, I want to say, can I say this on YouTube? The shit show that went down, the shenanigans that went down in Ellis Park 7 days ago. They were quite good. I was impressed by Finn Smith. Pollock scored a couple of tries also, but why do I say Finn Smith? Because I used to play 10. I like commenting about the 10s. I had some doubts about Finn Smith. I didn't know if he was really up for it for England. He was good for Northampton, although Northampton, they were doing well with Bilou, also the French guy. But anyway, Finn Smith, solid. He was good kicking also, although he missed the easy ones, didn't he? He got the tough ones and he missed the easy ones. Pollock, I love Pollock. I think he's great. He's a young guy that just likes to celebrate his tries and take the piss. It's fine, guys. Chill out. He's allowed to do it. He's a young guy that likes his rugby. I think it's good for the sport. That's my opinion. If you don't like Henry Pollock, you don't like Henry Pollock. I think he's a good lad. Who else? Bernhard van Rensburg, or Janse van Rensburg. You can rate my Afrikaans accent. I think he was a very good player today. Played his good rugby and scored a good try to, what am I on about? Anyway, I can do quite a few English accents actually. I'm a talented young man. I can do quite a bunch of French accents also. Anyway, that's not why you clicked on this video. Outstanding performance from England, or do we blame Fiji that looked pathetic today? That's what I kind of wrote down because I can't really tell. England did play well. They played extremely well. No. They definitely learned from last week, but their opponent today was pathetic. And it pains me to say, everyone has a soft spot for Fiji, unless you're a cold-hearted, rugby fan. You should like Fiji. They're a bunch of good guys. They're exceptional people, the Fijians. But they were very average. No coordination, offloads were not hitting. The red card. Absolutely deserved. My guy has just kicked Ellis Genge in the torso, and he dared trying to mumble something to the ref to not get his permanent red card. Discipline in sport, I've always wondered why people can't keep their cool. Is it in the moment where you think, hey, maybe I'm going to get away with it? If you kick someone in the chest, you should get a straight red card. Pains me to say. And that also cost Fiji brutally. Not that they were going to do much at 10:35 at halftime, but 10:35 at halftime with 15 players and a bit of momentum compared to 3:35 with 14 players and depression in the camp, that's kind of what cost them in the second half. Because you often don't... teams that concede badly in the first half don't always go out and sort of concede badly in the second half. This game could have ended up sort of 45-25, but Fiji couldn't keep it up. Yeah. Now, South Africa beat England brutally. Now England beats Fiji brutally. When's the last time we saw South Africa Fiji? Because that would be quite interesting. We're talking about number 1 in the world against number 9. If you're telling me that could, in theory, end up 123-0, now rugby doesn't work like that, right? I'm not trying to add up the scores like a kid would do his maths, but I'm just saying it could be a scary scoreline if you put that Fiji side against the current Springboks side that we saw in recent games. And you're telling me that those are 2 top 10 rugby teams in the world. What's scary is that the divide between the number 1, 2, and 3 compared to the rest of the world is quite scary. If that's the case, I mean, look, it's not even shocking because Wales lost 0-73 at home to South Africa just last year. I mean, not even a full year ago. Wales are 10th or something. Anyway. Other things that are of interest from this game. Cowan-Dickey scored a try that got cancelled. Let's talk about that because I think it's just quite useful to understand the refereeing in general. Why was that not, for example, a yellow card? Why was that not a penalty try? Let's talk about it. The Stormers, when they played Toulon in the Champions Cup, they should have probably been awarded a penalty try at one stage when the maul was collapsed and he gave a yellow card. You collapse the maul and you stopped a potential try. So you get a yellow card. You stopped a potential try means you should be getting a penalty try also. When you collapse a maul in front of your own line and there is momentum, no matter what the score is, no matter who did it, no matter what the circumstances is, there needs to be one piece of text to follow, one law textbook to follow. If not, we get into a mess with different referees blowing for different things. Was it a yellow card? Was it not a yellow card? There should be harsher laws on that. I don't know what you think, guys, but it's quite painful to think that, yeah, if the scores were maybe tighter and England had to score or try to win the game against South Africa, for example. And how would you referee that? You know, if you collapse the maul, a maul that's going forward, you collapse it before the line. Penalty, try, yellow card, automatic? I don't know. It needs to be a bit more seriously sort of scripted and followed by every single ref, in my opinion. Yeah, we don't want the same shit going on until 2027 World Cup where, you know, imagine the final was decided on a weird call like that. That's always been the problem with, I suppose, rugby refereeing. Pollock, I said he was a good lad. Smith, I said he was quite good. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the question is, have England truly improved and learnt from last week? Or were Fiji just shit today? It's really tough to tell. I think a bit of both, right? A bit of both. Thanks for watching. There is the big game coming up in, 30 minutes. The Springboks are taking on Scotland. That's going to be quite interesting. I'll be tuning into that. I want to say one thing. There are quite a bunch of comments, guys, and I really appreciate it. I do this stuff because I like to have a chat about rugby. Rugby's a passion. Rugby's an amazing sport. We should all unite and we should make sure that we are all respectful. There are some people that drop useless comments and I don't delete them. I respond to them. But I am stunned to see full-grown men, full-grown adults, people who share rugby as a passion, behave so stupidly. So please, if you want to subscribe to this channel, if you want to enjoy the content and you want to have a polite and respectful chat with me as we grow this channel, just be respectful. You do not need to agree with my opinions. You can tell me that I'm wrong. You can suggest that, that's completely wrong, etc. But do not call me an idiot. Do not start throwing insults. I don't care, but I just think it's silly. And I think you're doing more harm to yourself behind your keyboard doing that than anything else. But then I don't delete the comments because I want more comments. Go on, comment me. I prefer you insulting me than not dropping any comments. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you next time. That was a good win for England. And maybe, just maybe, England rugby is back until we play a proper opponent.